6 years. For 6 years, my world revolved around her. When I said I loved her, I meant it with every piece of my being. It wasn't a comfortable, routine kind of love. It was the can't imagine my life without you kind. She was my pillar, my light on the darkest days. We had our arguments, like any couple, but I always told myself that they were just cracks on the surface of something solid. I was convinced that deep down our love was unshakable. I had absolutely no idea that the foundation was already gone. It started subtly. So subtly, I almost convinced myself I was imagining it. Averted eyes when I asked a simple question, a phone screen angled away from me just a little too quickly. The excuses for being late started to stack up. Late meetings, traffic, a surprise visit to her sister. Each one was plausible on its own, but together, they formed a quiet hum of wrongness in the back of my mind. But you ignore it. You love someone that much, you choose to believe the best. You paint over the cracks and tell yourself the house is still strong, because the alternative is too terrifying to consider. And then came the night the house fell down. She was in the shower. The house was dark, silent, and her phone, lying on the nightstand, suddenly lit up the room. I wasn't looking for anything, I swear, but you can't unsee a thing like that. A name I didn't recognize, and a message preview that burned itself into my memory. I still have your scent on me. I missed you last night. Time stopped. My heart didn't break, it just stopped. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room, out of my lungs. I didn't move. I just stared at the glowing screen until it went dark again. I waited. When the sound of the shower stopped, every second felt like an hour. She walked into the room, smiling, toweling her hair. And I looked at this woman that I had built my life with, and I saw a stranger. I kept my voice calm, level. I asked her, "Is there something you want to tell me?" Her face changed. First confusion, then panic. She denied everything, vehemently. And then when she saw the look in my eyes, she knew I knew. And the tears started. She cried, she begged, she swore it was a one-time mistake, a moment of weakness, that it meant nothing and was already over. And I watched her cry. The tears were real, but I saw with horrifying clarity that they weren't for me. They weren't for the 6 years we had built. They weren't because she had shattered my trust. She was crying because she got caught. That was it. And in that moment, I knew it wasn't the affair that ended us, it was that realization. After I first shared this story, some people didn't believe it. They said it was too well written, that it sounded like AI, that real divorces aren't like this, that it was fake. And man, that hurt. Because no AI could fake the feeling of my stomach dropping to the floor when that text lit up the room. No AI could fake the smell of rain on my jacket as I walked out that morning because I was too numb to even remember an umbrella. No AI could fake the exact sickly shade of blue of the motel sign where I slept that first night. This isn't a story. This is my life. And I would trade every well-written word to unlive it. People say real divorces are loud and chaotic, and they are. There are lawyers now, documents, a life to divide. It's messy and exhausting, but sometimes the loudest thing in the world is the silence. The silence of lying in bed next to someone who is a million miles away. The silence after you ask a question and you know the answer is a lie. Her tears were loud, but the reason behind them was a silent, damning truth. For weeks after, I was a ghost. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, I just stared at walls. I'd break down in the shower, trying to cry quietly because I didn't even have the energy for noise. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back at me. I was just gone. I didn't make it back on my own. My friends, my family, they refused to give up on me. Even when I stopped replying to their messages, they held me up when I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet. And slowly, very slowly, I started to breathe again. The decision to leave that morning wasn't an act of anger. It was an act of survival. I wrote her that note not to have the last word, but to remind myself why I was leaving. When love is betrayed, it's rarely the heart that breaks first. It's respect. And without it, love can't survive. I had to leave to stop losing pieces of myself, to stop being the man who closes his eyes to the truth because he's too scared to be alone. I'm not 100% okay. Some days still suck. The grief comes in waves, but I'm standing, and that's something. For anyone out there going through this, for anyone lying awake at night with that cold stone of dread in their stomach, you are not crazy. You are not weak. You are just hurting. Hold on a little bit longer. You're going to make it, I swear. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to finally walk away.
What do you think? Was leaving in silence the right decision, or would you have acted differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe stories like this need to be heard, support the channel by liking this video and subscribing. It truly helps.